Welcome to the Rainbow Remix Best of Series Summer Pride 2023. Today we're welcoming transgender comedian Julia Scotti and Kerrie, a young single mom who will share her experience of coming out as bisexual and all that implies.
I don't know, like, she's out there. You're the Florida version of Sex and the City, JD.
That's when I was smoking my cigar.
Don't be an asshole today.
First up in the mix is transgender comedian Julia Scotti from Showtime and America's Got Talent.
And we've got transgender comedian Julia Scotti with us. And you recently saw a show with her.
I did.
She graciously agreed to do our podcast. So in the spirit of Pride Month, here we go.
Yay! Excited for this one.
Your name, Kerrie.
Hi.
I get a chance to try out my brand new. I bought lights. Because I know you're the first. You're the first people I've tried it on.
Nice.
Let me know which. You ready?
Oh,
There's one on this side too.
Whoa!
nice.
Wonderful.
Now you know my secret.
Welcome, Julia.
Love it.
Thank you for having me.
I'm really excited. JD has been raving about your show that she went to. Your story is so inspiring. You know, can you tell us a little bit about? I mean, obviously, you have a knack for finding the humor.
What would you like to know specific? Let's drill down a little bit.
Well, were you doing comedy before you transitioned?
Oh, sure. I started doing stand-up in 1980.
Oh, wow.
My very first gig. I was a drummer before, but I was my very first
I
gig.
didn't know about
Yeah.
Oh.
But I started in a Chinese restaurant in Paramus, New Jersey, and on the show, it was the very first out of New York comedy show. You know, with the circuit hadn't even been born yet. But on the show, Jackie the Joke Man was from Howard Stern show was the MC, but Jerry Seinfeld was on it. Eddie Murphy was on it. Who else? Gilbert was on it, and there were a couple others on it too, and me. And that's how it started. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! And do you keep in touch with any of them?
Oh no. Once they became famous, it's like
gone.
Yeah. I don't plan. I mean, you know, we were never close. We all know each other.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, I only have a few close friends who are comics that I still stay in touch with. So I did that for 20 years, and then I was getting older. I was still married. My kids were growing up, and I wanted to spend more time at home, so I became a teacher, and I taught for 7 years. And I taught. That's when I transitioned, which was in 2000. It was in 1999. I'm sorry, when I transitioned.
Oh wow!
Okay. That is amazing. I saw the trailer to your documentary, and I want to watch the whole show. Where is that documentary? Where can we find that?
You can get it on Amazon Prime. Somebody told me it's also you can get it. You can get it in most places that you know but Prime is probably that's the one Susan wants me to.
I'm fascinated that you did this later in life. I mean, so to speak, you weren't old, but you did it later in life. The courage that must have taken, especially in 1999, things were so different. They're hard enough now, but like, how did you find the courage to do that? Because I did hear in the trailer that you had a lot of like kickback from your children, that your children didn't agree with that and they weren't cool with that happening.
Well, there was a 14-year separation with my kids. I didn't see them, talk to them, you know. For,
oh man,
14 years. Yeah, it was awful. Somebody asked me that the other night. We had a screening at a place up in New York State, and somebody asked me a similar question. Why didn't I wait till the kids were older? And I said, well, I always told my kids you have to be true to yourself. And what kind of a hypocrite would I be if I waited, and, it would have hurt no matter when I did it.
Yeah.
And so,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. And I said to this person, I said, what if I waited till my kids were grown and they had children. And now, how do you tell grandpa's now going to be grandma?
Yeah.
It's just that, and plus mentally, I was just really on the verge of, killing myself because I was so sad and so miserable. I just couldn't wait anymore.
What was it like back then medically for you to make that decision and go to do that? Like, I'm thinking now it's probably easier to find the doctors and the avenues to do that transition. Like, what was it like back then for someone that wanted to transition?
There weren't a whole lot of choices back then in this country. I found I was blessed to have found a gay doctor, first of all, and Dr. Tommy, and he was so sweet, and I went with my ex Kate. She's the one who found them, and I was crying. I couldn't even get the words out, and he just held me. Have you ever had a doctor just hold you?
That's
Compassionate.
like
Wow, that's
amazing.
amazing.
No.
Yeah.
And he said, it's going to be okay. We're going to get through this together. And so you can't get on hormones until you're in therapy for a couple of months. So I found a therapist, and I had to be in therapy for at least a year while I was going through this process. And then you live a year in your new gender. So it was a 2-year, more or less. And then in order to get approved for surgery, which I had done in Montreal, you had to get signed off on by a medical doctor and 2 psychologists, or actually 1 psychiatrist and 1 psychologist. So and it always bothered me because I said, if I were a cisgender woman and I wanted to get new boobs, new ass, new anything, I just go to the doctor and go, put them in there, babe.
Yeah.
But here,
Yeah.
my future was in the hands of total strangers, basically. I
Yeah.
mean, I loved my therapist and all, but in fact, I
Yeah.
just saw him at Pride over the weekend, at the beginning of the month. I was on a float, and he's like, Julia. But I don't know what it's like now. I assume the protocols are similar.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't know.
obviously, there's a lot of political strife and laws that are trying to be, imposed and whatnot, and it's making it really difficult because it feels like they're trying to set everyone back. Whether you're, gay, lesbian, trans, bi, whatever, they're just, trying to erase us and wipe us out, take away our health care, and it's brutal.
Well, even within our community, I just found this out recently that gay men are complaining that trans people are taking them from the herd, like we're thinning their herd,
Geez, oh man.
Really?
because we're recruiting them to be. It's like, why are we always recruiting? I feel
Right. It is everywhere. You're right.
crazy. Why? But we're the new. I always say, trans is the new black. We're the minority that.
Yeah, the new target. Yeah. It's terrible. It's terrible. And the fact that, here you are at 70. Did I get that right?
Well, it just turned 71.
71.
June 1st.
And you are out there, and you've got a
I'm
great
out there already.
show. You're out there, but you got a great comedy show, and you're finding your people.
Yeah.
And you've got this, documentary streaming. I mean, that does, take courage, like JD said. But what I love about it is that you're finding the humor in aging. Aside from everything else that you've been through, I mean, I love that you're finding the humor in aging because, I don't, I don't know about you, but when my little circle of friends get together, that seems like all we talk about.
I well, my sister died 3 weeks ago, or four
Oh,
weeks ago, actually.
oh, sorry to hear that.
No, thank you, thank you. She's out of pain and misery now, and
Yeah.
I'm happy for her. But I before she died, can I swear on this thing?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
My God, be you, be you.
So we were talking. My sister and I laughed our asses off all through the cancer. It was an 8 month ordeal, and I used to make her laugh a lot. And I said, at one point, we would laugh till we were crying because it was it was black humor, but it was
Yeah.
funny. And I said to her, of course, after you're gone, I'm gonna be putting this in my act. And, and she said, she's just like that. She goes, "Well, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna be dead anyway." It's like, that's my sister, and that's what that's me too. I mean, we just speak the truth, and I talk about our cancer in a way that people who do have cancer can laugh a little, maybe.
Yeah,
And people who know people with cancer can laugh a little too. Especially when you know what the outcome is going to be, and we knew what it was going to be with her.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah,
I mean, my mom has MS, and she got diagnosed like mid 50s, I think, and had to stop working mid 60s, and it's progressive, so it's getting worse, but we handle it with humor, so if I like call and the phone rings and rings and rings, goes to voicemail, and then I call back, and then she answers it, and she goes, "Oh, I couldn't get there in time because I can't move that fast, And I'm like, "Stop using your
yeah.
MS as an excuse
Oh,
for everything."
I got this became the hook, the hook in this piece that I do about her. Very early on in the trip, the journey, she would ask me to do stuff, and 9 times out of 10, I would whatever she asked me to do, I did. But every now and then, I just didn't feel like doing something, and she would just look at me. She was in the car one day, and she asked me to do something. I said, "No, I'm really tired. I want to get back to you." She just looked like, "But I have cancer."
Aw.
Wow, wow, wow. And I just started laughing my ass off, and that became every time she couldn't get her way. That what came in.
Yeah. My
So I
mother.
bring it to the stage now, and she called me one morning, and she goes, "Would you go shopping for a casket with me?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." Uh, and we wound up. I said to her, I said, "Costco sells them," which they do.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you go on Costco's website. I said they should call it Casco, but well, that's actually where we wound up buying it from Costco. We got a good price. What?
Do they have them there or they deliver it? Where are the caskets?
Here's
Can you
how it works. They're not in the store, but you go online, you see the selection. They're very nice looking. The casket, how nice they look. And then you pick one. They send it to when it's time. You have to wait 3 days for delivery, which I thought was hysterical. So we had to put her on ice for 3 days until the casket got to the
Oh,
funeral home. Now they had to drive her in the casket from South Jersey, Tom's River, up to, you're in England, right?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it's to this town of Fort Lee, New Jersey, which is a distance of about, I don't know, 75. It's a 2 hour drive.
Okay.
We're all at the what she called the mausoleum. The mausoleum.
Mausoleum.
The mausoleum. And we're all waiting there because she didn't want a mass, or we didn't do a mass because the priest wanted $500. So we said, um, so we're waiting for her to show up. The hearse breaks down on the turnpike. They had to call another hearse and switch her out.
Oh my God.
So she was on the New Jersey Turnpike. So
oh
here's my
my
sister
God.
Yeah, on this major thoroughfare, trucks whizzing
Oh,
by.
God.
Right, what happened by Newark Airport, so there's planes landed, and here's my sister sitting on the shoulder of the road while they're switching her out. So she was literally late for her own funeral.
That
Oh,
would be me. That would so be me. It will be me.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that's it. It's everybody's got that in their family, and so she gave me this wonderful treasure of a bit to
Oh,
keep her
God, yeah.
memory alive for me, and it's my kind of my eulogy to her. So
That's sweet. That's
Oh,
sweet.
that's beautiful. I love the part of your act where you talk about all the medical stuff you went through and everything. After everything she says, she goes, "I know," and because everybody goes, "Oh my God, oh my God."
you know how many people come up to me after a show and just go, "I know."
Has that become like a catchphrase for you? Because
It
that's
inadvertently did. I mean, I do it just naturally, and it just one night it just people started doing it before I got it out. So,
uh,
uh, so I said, "Oh well, yeah, well,
that's
I'm
Nailed
allowed
that's
some."
like Mary
it.
Ann. She said she was mopping and she heard you going, "I know," and she has
I
like
know.
a person.
Oh, is that what happened when she was mopping?
That's what happened. We'll
That's
have to get
great.
mugs or T-shirts or something that
But you
says,
know,
"I
that's the thing.
know."
The thing is like that's just proof of how relatable,
Mhm.
these things are. Like, everything, nowadays. It's that's what we look for in comedy is something that we can relate to because we find it funny, but we're never sure if anybody else is going to. If you're bringing it out there, yeah, I'm going to be out there going, I know.
Well, that's the thing that got Lenny Bruce. Not that I'm Lenny Bruce, but that's the thing that got Lenny Bruce in so much trouble was that he was doing that before anybody was doing it.
Yes. Yeah.
Carlin picked up the mantle, and Pryor picked up the mantle, and ran with it. But that um, to find those things in life, I love stuff like that.
Me too. Me too.
It's
Oh
No,
going
yeah.
to.
it is. It just it makes the comedy so much better. It's just, it's observational stuff
Mhm.
that finally someone's saying that either you think or you just say it with your little group of friends or I mean, like like I said, like now that we're getting older, I feel like all we talk about is like stuff we can't eat anymore,
Mhm.
like pooping and medicine and doctor's
Oh God,
appointments.
for me it's like uh, uh, sex, not want. I don't know if I did that when you were at the show, but I have this bit about how I just don't want to have sex. It's too much work, just too much work. Now, when I have this thing where the person's on top of me and his teeth fall out, and I got to just put it back in.
I don't think you did that. No, I
Yeah,
don't.
it is. It's just too much work. I can't we just play Scrabble?
Can we just have soft food?
Soft food. Uh, yeah.
Something safe.
Some tapioca, some custard. Let's go for custard.
Some custard
Yeah.
and play a little Scrabble. I mean, really, that's what our nights are winding down to. But it's just great to hear someone
Oh,
else say it.
isn't that true? That's such a
It
great,
is.
that's what I love about everything about you is the courage about you transitioning and then doing what you're doing at your age because people always think they're too old to chase a dream or to try something different. And my God, you did different like no one else. And I wanted to ask you, how did this affect your career? Because you were headlining before you transitioned. Did it help you after? Did it hurt? How did that
It
work?
didn't. It was the comedy community is very small. We all know each other pretty much, especially East Coast comics. We all know each other from the trenches. And I heard when I got out of comedy because I was out for 10 years. That the rumor about me was that I had lost my mind and had a sex change, both of which are true to a certain extent. But I didn't like go. I wasn't in a home or anything. I was teaching. I was teaching
Yeah,
middle
yeah.
school. When I came back, um, interestingly, there were people who thought I couldn't be funny, having gone through this, and so they made people that I had known for 20 years made me audition for their
Oh,
club again. I know, right? But you know what? I'm a trooper. Yeah, you want me to audition? I'll audition.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
then came America's Got Talent, and
Yeah.
everything changed.
yeah,
You know,
Is that what was that the shift that really brought you to the forefront?
yeah.
yeah, definitely.
It was they found me online. I had no interest in doing that show at all. I didn't even watch the show. And they reached out to us. I had a manager at the time, and they said to her, we'd like her to audition. You know, they were going to give me what's called an appointment audition. So it means you don't have to wait online with the sword swallowers and everything else. You had to see that the audition day was at a college in Queens, and it was like a circus out in the parking lot.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
believe
people are
it.
juggling babies. They're doing, so I get the show, and when they offered it they offered the audition. I said to my manager, I said, I don't want to do a friggin' game show. I don't want to do that show.
A
Come
game
on.
show.
It is a contest. I mean, for comics especially, it's brutal because you get 90 seconds.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
if you're a Susan Boyle, for instance, you know what's coming. I mean, she doesn't look like she does what she does as well as she
right,
does it.
right.
And so right away, there's a clue. She's going to blow the roof off the place.
Yeah.
You can't tell that with a comic, and and
You
again,
know, and you're up against like it's not like other comedians, you know what I mean, where you got to
right.
type 5 minutes or whatever, you're up
Right.
against like cat jugglers. Like, how do you compete with like
Yeah, I
physical?
was the girl who won. A wonderful girl, young girl. She was 12. I played the ukulele, and there was a guy on there. This He was like a magic act with Rubik's cubes. I mean, it's like a sideshow, And anyway,
Right.
I went on there, and it went pretty well. And they, I wanted, and I didn't do the reveal that I was trans until after the set because I wanted the set to stand on its own, which it did.
Yeah.
And so, they got what they wanted from me. I got what I wanted from them. I got 3 appearances on the show. Each time, 12 million people. You can't buy that kind of
Yeah,
publicity.
that's an audience right there.
Yeah, and so I mean, it's funny because when you get kicked off the show at the end, there's a psychologist off stage waiting for you because
Oh,
because they don't want people jumping off the building when they get
Yeah.
back to the hotel,
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I've been knocking around for 30 years already. It was a young British woman too. All the staff on there, the main staff is British because it's a
Yeah,
British company.
right.
But she said to me, she goes, well, may I talk to you for a minute? I said, sure, what's up? She goes, I'm Dr. So-and-so. I'm the staff psychologist. I just want to make sure that she was right outside backstage. And now the other 2 losers who got kicked off, they're fucking crying. They're like weeping. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm walking off like that, da, 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 da. She goes, are you sure you're okay? I stopped her. I said, let me tell you something. Let me tell you a couple of things. I've been doing this for 20 years at that point, 30 years, whatever it was. And it was 30. And I said, I'm from Jersey. Okay. I've been tackled on stage. I have worked in places where they throw drinks at me. This is and I'm telling her this. This is the greatest fucking thing that's ever happened to me in my life. I said, I don't need you. Thanks a lot. Go talk to those people because they look like they're going to jump off the roof when they get back to the hotel. And that was it. And I walked out. I was happy as a clam, man.
That's hilarious, man. That is so funny.
funny.
We have to get you over here.
I would love to come. There's been rumblings about me going over there. I've done a couple of shows, podcasts and over there. I would love it.
Yeah,
I would love it.
I
Get me
love
over
it.
there. I'll come. Yeah.
I will. I will actively search for someplace. But I'm telling you, it's what I've noticed. Like I've been here 12 years, and I grew up
Why?
because I got married. My
Okay.
my wife is Australian and English, and got a great job here. So we
Okay.
here.
That's all I needed to know.
So
Huh?
yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna answer that.
I
Well,
every time
when I saw you were in England, I said, "Oh, well, she's British, so it's a." But you're not British.
no, not even a little
I
bit.
do a better English accent
Yeah,
than
you
you.
do. You do. I don't even like scones. It's tough.
I need Italian food if I'm going to move someplace.
Yeah, I will say they do it pretty well. I don't want to shit all over England, but
No, you can't. I
yeah.
have a friend who she's a TV writer, but she's what do you call it when between two she's by
Expat,
country? Huh?
expat,
No,
or
she doesn't. She lives there. Her husband
dual.
lives
She has
there.
dual citizenship.
I guess. I mean, but she's a TV writer, but she writes over there, and then she comes over here and she writes over here. And
Oh, that's fantastic! What a
oh
job.
yeah, she got a nice life. She's there now, actually.
I always worry, um, about humor translating.
Mm.
Like I hosted like a lot of gigs when I first got here, like on the main stage introducing people, and you got to fill the time a little bit and be a little funny. And I always worried about that, but I realized that I could massacre city names, and they loved it. It's just ridiculous. Like what this poor girl was from Walsall near Birmingham,
Spell
and
that.
Walsall, and I just
Spell it.
couldn't say it right.
Spell it.
I Walsall.
No, it's just like it's
Also,
spelled.
But I asked her to write it down for me because I couldn't understand what she was saying, just like you said, spell it.
Oh yeah.
So now she writes it down, and I get up there and I go, Faye Bagley from Walsall.
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 That's like a sobriety test almost, or a stroke test.
right?
Oh yeah,
There are times when I watch movies for with a British kiss that I have to put the subtitles on because
oh, me too. I've been here 12 years. I still do it because there's a lot of different dialects too.
Yes.
Like Newcastle. I went to see a play and Cheryl Cole was starring in it, and I didn't even understand the first 15 minutes. It takes a while for it to sink in.
Yeah.
And you can kind of like start piecing it together. But yeah, the first 15
So do you
minutes.
think my comedy would work there?
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Really?
absolutely.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
do. They love American accents, and if you're American and you have the New
I don't
York
have an accent.
you're Jersey girl.
I'll open for Julia. I'll do a little music and open for her. And
Yeah.
we'll America, bring the New York Italians. I'm also Italian, Julia.
Yeah.
And you sing and play?
Yes, yeah. I have a band. I'm a singer-songwriter. Yeah.
That's right. You did tell me. You did say that to me. Yes, you did.
Yeah. Not me. I do nothing but this.
Oh, I gotta wait a minute. I gotta plug this. Speaking of singer-songwriter, I gotta plug my album. Wait a minute. Well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, wait a minute. I got a whole box of this shit. I gotta get rid of it.
What? What do we have here?
First, I'm
So
hearing
this is my latest album. It's a download card.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
is
can
that
travel with these.
them? I love that.
Yeah, you can I travel. I used to have to bring CDs with me.
Yeah,
This thing's
yeah.
great. I throw like 100 of them in my suitcase, and they just download the code and you get the album. It's pretty cool.
Oh, that's
Really
like
cool way to sell music or anything.
Yeah, you can do it for music too. So this is
she's
my
more
second
tech
album.
savvy. She's more tech savvy than we'll ever be.
I know.
No.
I can barely get this podcast up.
Right?
They don't have to know that.
Yeah, I know it's true. True. We can look like we're smart.
Yes.
But
Yes.
what I'm wondering is you got like a certain level of success. You're doing really well. Do you find people gravitating more towards you, like because they're impressed with your story, they like your comedy, but like the people that lost touch over the years, like you said, you were out of it for 10 years. Are they back giving you the respect you deserve?
I never know. I always think they glad hand you, and then when I walk out of the room, they go, "She sucked." I have no self-esteem whatsoever. I don't really care. I don't really care because the only person I have to please is me,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and my comedy is it pleases me, but not I'm not totally satisfied yet. I had this conversation with a musician friend of mine earlier today about uh, artists are never happy with their work, and you're always
Mhm.
striving for more, bigger, better, finer, purer,
Yeah.
work, whether you're a comedian or an art or a musician.
Mhm.
And so that's all I really care about. I don't care.
That's probably the way to do it, right?
Yeah.
Like these conversations though are so helpful, for people that are struggling. And I swear to God, and I'm not comparing you in any way, but I remember the first time I watched a couple episodes of Transparent, with Jeffrey Tambor, and when that it like it kind of hurt my heart, and I love that they were, you know, they had
Why
good
did it hurt your heart? What
to see
about?
the struggle, to see the struggle.
Okay.
Yeah, like that was the biggest thing for me. But I love that they were infusing little bits of humor in it, and making it more palatable so more people would watch and understand a little
Right.
bit.
I had to go to a gynecologist not long after I came back from Canada from surgery. Right? I was having post-op issues. And first of all, I couldn't find a gynecologist that would see me
Oh,
20 years ago. But I finally found one, and I'm in uh, the exam room, and they're doing the intake. They're asking the questions. So the nurse says to me, "You still get your period?" I go, "No." No." She goes, "How long has it been?" I go, "Long time, long." 'Cause I didn't want to tell her why I was there. Then I'll tell you this story because it's actually fun. So the gynecologist, it's a woman. She's examining me, and she's that she's doing her thing, and she's like going, mm, mm, mm. She goes, and I see her head come up, right? And she goes, "Yeah, you see that?" She goes, "This is beautiful." I thought, "Well, thank you."
And it's got that new car smell.
I did. I went for the Jane Fonda model. I think that the Barbarella model. That's the one I got.
On the model.
Yeah. She goes, honest to God. She goes, if I didn't know, I wouldn't know. I go, well, that's
Wow.
encouraging.
That's
That
quite the compliment. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've never seen it. I mean, how do you look at it? A mirror, it doesn't.
That's hilarious.
Wow.
Oh my
That's
God.
that's really quite the compliment, I would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because there is a lot of prejudice towards us as sexual beings. On a serious note, a lot of people can't think of trans folks as sexual beings, and especially in my age group.
Mm-hmm.
I do
You're
this joke in my
changing that. I mean, you're not like on the cover of Sports Illustrated or anything, but the awareness,
Mm-hmm.
just talking about it and bringing awareness to, to ageism in our community. That I
Yeah.
mean, that's stuff
Whole other
that, again, it's crazy. I just think, I don't know, like I don't know if you find this, lesbians, we're so forgiving, you know.
Well,
Lesbians are
yes
so,
and no. Yes, most of my friends are lesbians, but I don't mean to disparage that statement, but I have been told by a number of lesbians that they feel like trans men or trans women actually are interlopers, that we're you know
oh,
uh,
oh no, I just meant like we're forgiving as far as like being overweight,
oh, that, yeah,
or
that's
Right.
fine,
having
yeah,
gray hair,
yeah,
that
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
thing. We're like, no, you're beautiful just the way you are all the time, So that's
True. Yeah. Yeah.
a gay man. They don't want
Oh
an
no, very
outcast. They
unforgiving, yeah.
don't want
An
gray
ounce
hair.
of fat,
Yeah,
nothing. Right. Right. Unless
terrible.
you're in LA, Denise. The LA lesbians are totally different.
Oh, completely,
Sounds like a
completely.
soccer team, doesn't it? The LA Lesbians.
The LA lesbians were brutal when I went in 2009. Me and my fat friend, we were just like, I swear to God, I felt like we were on display. Like people were just like,
I have had several occasions where I've been in a bar and I've met somebody that I would like to, get to know better. And inevitably, I have to tell them because I won't go with somebody that doesn't know, my
sure,
family.
yeah,
I just don't think that's fair. The first time I told this woman, you could see there was a visible change in her countenance, and she just said, "Well, I can't do this. Thank you." It's like I was trying to sell a life insurance. Thank you, but I'm not interested right now. So,
I,
Well, that's what, like when we had the Pride Fest here, we've talked about that many
yeah,
times, that there was this rumors that they were going to have people protesting, and it didn't happen, and it was a great time, and we had fun, and I performed, and we were there as the Rainbow Remix. It was just a great, fun, really nice day. Good
yeah.
weather.
I'm so mad. Like I kicked myself it it gave me pause, and I actually considered not going. And then when I couldn't find anything, I really researched
you
and
mean
said,
this year? This year?
yeah, this year,
Yeah.
just in
Well,
March.
that's in March, yeah. They
Yeah.
have it. The
Oh, I
Pride
see.
Fest in
Okay.
March.
And
Well,
Oh, hi,
nothing.
honey. You can't, not right now, please, sweetheart.
My cat just like rolled over and yawned
She
on
just
my
woke
drink.
up. She's been outside all afternoon sleeping. I
Oh,
I have a question on a different note,
Yeah.
about going back to your documentary. You had mentioned that when you first started, you were married and you had your children and you wanted to be the mother, and you were wondering, am I gay? Like you were wondering like what was going on. And then when you transitioned, you wanted to be with women. Then did you ever think about staying with your wife? Did that ever, like, you didn't want to be with men even though you didn't want to be gay, right? Is that why you didn't
Well,
feel?
no, I didn't want to stay with my wife because uh, I can't. Let's just say I didn't want to stay with my wife. But
Yeah,
oh,
I
there
just
she is.
mhm.
Uh, this is Katie, by the way.
I need that to roll
She's
around the
deaf. She
house.
can't hear. She's deaf as a doornail.
That's awesome.
Um, it a lot of people get confused between gender identity and sexual identity. Generally, your sexual identity doesn't change when you transition. I've always. It's interesting because when I was living with the other tribe, I I found myself always attracted to lesbians, even though I didn't know they were lesbians. You know, I would find out later when they were outed or they came out of the closet or whatever. I go, oh, well, that explains. Like Lily Tomlin's a perfect example. Back in the '60s, during Laughing,
Mhm.
everybody was going gaga over Goldie Hawn or Judy Carn. I'm like, no, I think Lily Tomlin is. And it never occurred to me that she was gay. Miss Jane Hathaway on the Beverly
Oh,
Hillbillies.
right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
always, even when I was a little kid, she was on a show called Bob Cummings Show, and I went, she's pretty, she's kind of. So I mean, it's always there. But I think whatever happened to me in utero, it must have been a, I don't know, some great battle that I wound up the way, because they find now that trans people, um, they believe it happens in utero. They believe there's a hormonal um, event that doesn't happen on time, or it doesn't happen at all,
Right.
and wind up with people like me. You know, they don't know. Nobody really knows. They do know it's biological and not
Mhm.
psychological.
Learned. Right. Yeah.
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 Did you?
I mean, I do believe that. Like, no matter when in your life you figure it out, you generally feel uncomfortable, right? In your own.
I always felt like something
Yeah.
was wrong.
Yeah.
I was like, I never felt right, which is why I thought, oh, maybe I'm gay. I must be gay. It's the only explanation.
Right.
And then I venture forth. and maybe be with a man and then throw up afterwards. And I'm like,
Mm.
what? Okay, guys,
Can't be
they're not
right.
throwing up. Yeah, they seem relatively happy. They're not throwing up. Um,
That's why I asked, because I know of a couple that were two women, and then one of the women transitioned into a man, but they stayed together, and now they're together, and people just think they're a hetero couple, but yeah, straight
yeah.
couple. But and then there was a movie. I'm sure you saw the movie Normal, when
Yes,
they
I did see
stayed
the normal.
together after he transitioned. So I was just wondering, in your case, like how that was.
Yeah. No,
That's too
no.
neat an ending,
I
isn't it?
get
That's
that.
too neat an ending.
Totally get that. I get the reason. I totally get why you wouldn't want to, but
My wife Kate, the last time I was married two and a half times. The last one was annulled, so I call it a half marriage. But she was the woman I wanted to stay with. I loved her. If you watch the movie, there's an interview with her on the phone, and I love her still. And if she wanted to ever get back together, I would do it in a heartbeat. And it's been
Oh,
20
sweet.
years.
Yeah.
So I mean, love transcends sex and gender.
absolutely,
Mhm.
It's
yes.
it's a spiritual thing.
Mhm.
Definitely.
I believe that. I believe that,
And
and I
Julia,
can't wait to see the movie.
one of the questions I wanted to ask here, and then we'll wrap things up here. We're keeping you way longer than I anticipated. Um, what do you have a relationship with your children now?
I yes, yes, it's different than it would be if none of this ever happened.
Yeah,
Uh, I'm closer to my son than I am to my daughter. Um, it is the way it is. I hate using that expression, but
yeah,
I'm happy for what I have.
Yeah.
It's better
yeah.
than nothing.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, it's better than nothing. Obviously, that's cool. Well, I mean, I really appreciate you taking the time and having this discussion with us, and it's been a blast. And I really hope that you get across the pond, because I will
Yeah.
be the first in line for tickets.
Well, thank you. We'll make it happen. I mean,
Yeah.
Work on that for you.
I would love to come over. We have made some inquiries into some clubs in England and in Amsterdam and in someplace else. I forget where. France. There was also an English speaking club there, and it's so hard with all the paperwork and the work rules and all the other bullshit that you have to go through.
Yeah, yeah, we make it simple. We just go, if you get yourself here, I'll find a venue where we'll stick you
Yeah, but
in.
don't you need work permits and all? Don't you need?
I'm not sure for a couple of nights here and there. I don't know. I think it's if it's
Yeah,
a long-term thing or a tour.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, if yeah, make it happen. Damn it, I'd love to come over.
We'll figure something out. That'd be
Quick.
great.
Yeah.
That'd be fantastic. In the meantime, there's always Boca.
We'll
Always
always
vote.
have Boca. We'll always have Boca.
Open for you in Boca too, and then we'll take it over to England.
I actually, if you see the poster behind me, that yellow one, I can't do it.
Yeah,
That's the Funny Women of a Certain Age show,
yeah.
and
Oh,
we took that to not Boca, but right near Boca. Fuck, I can't remember the name. But yeah, we've been down to Florida with it a couple of times. We did a tour of that.
That would
oh,
be, yeah, I could see where that would be a hit.
that
Yeah.
cat clock behind you. I used to have one growing up. We had one in our
Oh,
kitchen.
that one.
Yeah, we had that clock in our kitchen.
My sister gave me that because I a few years ago, she we were talking with them. My aunt Rosie had one when we were
Hmm.
kids, and sometimes I wonder if I was like a little bit on the spectrum because I used to just sit there and watch it all day, and it just so she got me one for one Christmas.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, she also got me. If you see I don't know if you can see the picture below it, the apartment building.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's the building we grew up in
Oh,
Fairview,
how
New Jersey.
cool.
Picture to have.
It looks exactly, well, not exactly the same, but close to the way it looked when we lived there. And it was
Where
a
was
poor
that?
neighborhood, huh?
Where did you grow up? Where was that?
Fairview, New Jersey, and up near New York City, right right across the river, or
Oh,
the
nice.
riverette. So I look at it, it reminds me where I came from, and it reminds me never to get too full of myself. It reminds me of just,
Keeps you grounded. Yeah.
keeps me grounded, and it's really the only home I've ever really known. And I every now and then I drive up there, and I just walk around the neighborhood, and everything comes back to me. So
That's sweet. That's sweet.
yeah. So
You
and
are
above
it's
that big picture of Gene Shepherd, the
uh-huh.
writer who wrote the movie The Christmas Story. To Shoot Your
Oh,
Eye Out.
Yeah.
He was a
yeah.
huge influence on me as a kid, as a writer. He wrote several books, and I discovered him at about age 11, 12, somewhere around there.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, so everything up on that wall, you see Mel and Carl Reiner
Yeah.
Mhm.
behind me,
Yes.
Sid Caesar over there, Kevin Meaney. So,
Oh God, yeah. That's a blast from the past.
well,
Yeah.
Kevin was a good friend, and we were touring together when he died, and so I miss
Oh.
him. I miss him all the time. But I have his picture.
I feel like one day I'm gonna turn on Netflix. I'm gonna see you driving around with Jerry Seinfeld and comedians having coffee in cars.
Well,
Yeah.
indirectly, I have, and I'll tell you why. Because do you remember I told you about the Chinese restaurant, the very
Mhm.
first show? Okay, so the Jackie Martling, Jackie the Joke Man, he was the MC. So he wrote down let me move this down so you can see me do my impression of writing. Okay, and he wrote down the lineup, and he kept the paper all these years later. And he sent it to me because you got to see this, and it was all those names on there. So when Eddie wound up doing Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, Jerry had the paper with the copy of the original lineup, and there was my name on, but my original name, my birth name, was on there. So it wasn't Scotti, And so indirectly, I had been on Comedians.
Oh, close enough for now.
Yeah, close enough. That works. That's
You're an
fantastic.
absolute inspiration, Julia. I really enjoyed speaking with you, meeting
Well, I
you.
did too. I enjoyed this a lot. Thank you
I'm
very
like,
much.
yeah, thank you so much for spending an hour with us. That's
Yes.
crazy.
Oh my God, has it been an hour? Please
God,
look at this.
usually people are squirming after 30
You
minutes.
know who I am? Ah.
So, I think this is a fantastic cap off to our Pride Month too. So that's,
Yes, yes.
thank you again for that. That's
Well,
amazing.
thank you. Thank you.
Thanks
Thank you
so
so much.
much.
Keep fighting the good fight,
You too.
I
Take
love
care.
you guys.
Next in the mix is Kerrie, who will share with us her experience of coming out as bisexual.
So, all right. So we should tell everybody the funniest thing is I am sitting around last weekend, the weekend before, I don't even remember, and I get a text from you that said, "Hey, just want to let you know, I've been doing some thinking, and I think I'm bisexual." Then immediately, I know.
Yep. Yep.
I was like,
Yep.
okay. So that was amazing. Like, I can't think of, nope. I don't think anybody's ever just like expressly come out to me. Like, I've either known or you meet somebody at an event that's, got the gay alphabet, attached to it. And so you just assume. But I don't think anybody has ever just like done that. So I was like so honored.
I know, and you were like one of I think the second person that I told.
Really?
Yeah, I think the second person that I told.
Has it been challenging to tell people or no? You're feeling like good, confident.
I mean, I haven't really told that many people. Because it feels weird to say. Like,
Yeah.
it feels weird to come out. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. And especially, I don't know, maybe I don't know if it's different, like being gay, but being bisexual is like, okay, so I like men and everybody knows that I like men,
Right.
but now I've realized that I'm also like interested in women, so it's kind of like weird to, I don't know, it's kind of
No, I
weird.
mean, I can't really imagine walking into like, a family roast on Sunday and being like, "Hello, I'm bi."
Right. So this is what I was thinking. This is what I was thinking about doing, because obviously I didn't tell like I say, you were the second person that I told. So, and then I think the weekend after, maybe, or something like that, it was my birthday, and I went over to my parents, and I had some family friends around, and the whole time I was sitting there thinking, oh, I'm going to tell everybody, I'm going to tell everybody, I'm going to tell everybody. And then I thought, oh, I just couldn't do it. Like, every time I was thinking about it, I kept getting butterflies. So I was just like, oh, this is awful. Like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
So I didn't end up telling anybody. Like you say, at a family barbecue, it seems weird. It seems like a weird thing to announce. Like, happy birthday, Kerrie. Oh, by the way, I'm bisexual. Like, so
like it just,
I didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
And then it was bugging me, because I was just like, oh, like, the person that I wanted to tell most was my mom.
Yeah.
And obviously I knew that she would be chill about it. Like, she's super chill. I knew that she'd be fine. But I felt so nervous to tell her. I don't know why. I don't really have a reason why. It just felt weird. Like I said, it just feels weird to come out and say it. So
right. Especially since, like, you're not, unless you're expressly like interested in someone and you think, it might happen, you might, start dating a girl.
Yeah.
And, there's no rush. So it is just, when you're having tea and biscuits and it's just the two of you or whatever, you might just want to drop a little, it's conversation. But I can't really see that there's a huge rush. And just like for anything, like, whether you're, gay or bi or, trans, questioning, not sure, whatever, it's all in your own time, in your own way, there's no one, I never really, thank God, I should say, that I never really had like a pushy person trying to, say, oh, you got to tell everyone, you got to tell everyone. No, man, I was going to a therapist. I was like, she'll let me know when I should be telling people or whatever. But, I think in this day and age, it's very different. People are figuring things out younger and younger and younger, and God bless them, because, when you know, and I guess that's one of the questions is like, what made you, was there someone that you were interested in? Was there, or you just felt like, you know what, I'm pretty comfortable, I'm able to say that chick's hot,
Well, I don't know. So, like, this is the weird thing, is that, like, I don't know, after one of me and my exes broke up a while ago, my ex, I like jumped on Tinder, and not straight after, obviously, but a while after, jumped on Tinder, and I thought, like,
morning period.
I thought, like, okay, like, maybe, like, I don't know. I mean, like, I think that girls are pretty. Like, maybe I should, like, jump on lesbian Tinder. So I did, and I was talking to a girl for a while. This was a while ago, like a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I was talking to a girl for a while, and then I kind of like I kind of backtracked, and instead started, like, switched it up and went on to guys, because I was like, oh, I don't know if I am, like, I think that women are attractive, but I don't know if I could ever see myself being with a girl or whatever. So yeah, I kind of backtracked and was like, oh, maybe I'm not, like, maybe I don't know. But then, I don't know, I've been thinking about it more and more recently, and the fact that I, like, do find a lot of women attractive, and I was like, okay, no, maybe this is it. There's nobody in mind. I don't have anybody that I'm talking to or anything like that, but I was like, it made me realize, okay, that I could envision myself with a girl, and there is something that I want, that I would like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like to explore it,
Yeah. So, yeah, and then I said it to somebody, like, I was talking to another friend of mine, and I was saying, oh, like, this girl's, like, hot, this girl's hot, blah blah blah, whatever. And then I sat there and I was like, maybe I am bisexual. And then my friend was like, yeah, yeah, like, you keep talking about how attractive these women are. What do you think? And I was like, no, yeah, you're right. Like, you're right, and it made me realize, okay, actually, I don't know. I guess straight women aren't attracted to other women.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah,
Right.
but
But
I don't know.
it's not like looking at someone and saying, "Oh, wow, that she's really pretty. I'm going to do my hair like that, or I'm going to do my makeup like that." Or it's like, no, there's an actual attraction there. So
Yeah,
I
like
think
that. I'm
like
actually like,
that's
yeah,
what
like
tips you over. That's what
yeah,
tips you into thinking, "Oh, wait, like I might want to sleep with her."
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what it is. So it's rather than being like, oh yeah, she's like really beautiful. I mean, anybody, you can appreciate anybody is like attractive or whatever. But yeah, it's a difference between being like, yeah, no, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind. There's a sexual attraction there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, for me, I remember when I was going through it, when I had all these thoughts before I had even really figured things out fully, I did that, had a toe in the pond, as we'd say, like, let's want to just poke my toe in the pool. So I did, kind of think, oh yeah, well, I was married at the time, so it was like the only logical explanation was that I was bisexual,
Yeah.
And I was like, the more I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? I need to go talk to somebody about this because I don't think I'm really attracted to my husband. I think I love him like a brother, but I can take it or leave it when it comes to sex. Like, it's, but you feel something different, with a girl,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wait, I have never felt that before. And that's what I want to keep feeling. So I need to, go down this road and figure it out. So I think I started that way, and it was more of a way to gauge people's reaction. I think,
Mhm.
in my own, like to get comfortable with saying I was something other than straight, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So yeah, there were a lot of pieces to it, and I think that was the main one was that what I don't want to dress like this girl. I don't, I don't. I like, I like I want to do things to this girl.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was the kicker.
Yeah.
But like you were saying, it is hard to open yourself up to something like that, especially because it feels all new. Like with guys, it's pretty simple what they want, and and what you need to do, and it's like with girls, it's not as simple.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm not saying that we're complicated creatures because I do think we get a bad rap, but I think it's when they with guys, it's like all you need to do is like touch their knee and they get a boner.
Yeah.
It's like totally different. It's like, wait, do I I need to kind of like have a conversation,
It's
get
more emotional, I feel like. Yeah.
definitely more emotional. It's like you gotta kind of find the connection,
Mhm.
there usually is. I mean, that's pretty much, part of the spark, is finding out what is going to do that. Like, what are the
Mhm.
interests? What is she interested in? What are her likes and dislikes, and what is her romantic history? Like, what's her, so I think the more talking, the more interested you are in that person, they feel that, and that means something to them. Whereas a guy, you could just tell them the latest football scores and,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. And
I like her.
this is
I like her. So yeah, I do think there's a different level of emotions, with girls, and that's a hard thing if you haven't had to do that before, because it's so easy to be comfortable and go back, to what you know how to do. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Than
Yeah.
than foraying into the unknown. So
Yeah. And
yeah,
like this is when I went through that, um obviously, and I was talking to that girl for a little while, and I said it to one of my other friends who is also lesbian, and it was yeah, like I said, a few years ago, and I said I don't know, maybe I'm bisexual, and she said, oh, like yeah, maybe, like whatever, um and then obviously, yeah, like you say, well, I backtracked and I was like, yeah, no, whatever, and that's when I met my obviously child's father,
Yeah.
and we had a relationship, obviously ended and whatnot.
But
And yeah, like,
let me ask you this. When you're in a relationship with a guy, the girl feelings don't go away. They're still kind of there in the back of your mind, aren't they? You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
but you don't want to elbow him and say, "Isn't she hot?" Like, yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
no,
check
I
her
do
out.
that though. I do that. I will do that. If I'm with somebody and I see a hot girl, I'm like, oh yeah, look at her. Like, and he's always like, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Like,
Right.
well, at least we can bond over this.
Yeah. Yeah, Chuck was like that too at first. You know. Yeah, but it's I think, there's a lot of little things, in hindsight, that make us go back and be like, oh yeah, like
Hmm.
yeah. So yeah, I think, and that's not discrediting the relationship, you were in with your son's father at all. You know,
Yeah,
when you're in, you're all in, but coming out of it, and emerging with new thoughts and everything, like it's a little scary because, now there's no one, you're not tethered to anyone, and you kind of, I don't know, for me it was like the world is your oyster. like every night was a different, like, I'm gonna go to the chick bar tonight, but who am I gonna wear? Like, who am I trying to impress? Like, what do I
hmm,
want to butch it up? Do I want to, like, so
yeah,
there was like a lot of, like nerves, I think, trying to settle in, I think, and be okay with it. Be okay,
yeah,
that the person that you are. And I think because today sexuality is so fluid, like I follow a lot of my friends on Facebook and Instagram and stuff, and they all have kids now, and their kids have kids and everything, and I look at these pictures of these kids, and I go, maybe a queer, like maybe, I'm not sure. Because they dress how they want to dress, they group themselves however they want to group themselves, like if
hmm,
they're, with a bunch of alternative, kind of people. Like I just said to Gemma, like I get, because I did tell Gemma, and she was like, oh, I kind of figured. And I was like,
did she?
yeah. I was like, really? She was like, well, before you started working there, when we would just go have a drink or whatever, and we, would be watching everybody working and everything. Like I just figured, like I just assumed. And I was like, oh, like I did not,
You didn't
So
have any idea? Did you not have it? No. Oh, okay, all right.
no,
I
no.
don't know. I feel like it's for me. Like now, I think about it. Like you say, like you think about all the things, and I feel like it's always been there. And I know that. Oh God, this and I don't. Obviously, I don't really drink anymore. But drunk Kerrie, full on gay, 100% gay. Honestly,
That's
the
because
amount
all
of
your
chicks
inhibitions
I've
go
kissed when I've
away.
been gay,
Yeah.
that I've kissed when I've been drunk, like so yeah, I don't know, I guess like, and I've, like I say, I've like found girls attractive for a long time, and it but it always felt to me like, oh, like yeah, but all women think that other women are pretty or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
but
right.
it's different because then you start thinking like, and especially now after coming out of a relationship with my child and having a child and stuff, like it's really got me into thinking more about myself and like rediscovering myself, do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yep.
um and yeah, so I guess I don't know, it kind of just clicked
That's
that.
that's amazing though that it did. And like I said, like it does, I feel like, when you've come to that conclusion and you're okay with it, and then you sit with it for a little bit before you, it's like, before it's like, when your fish are just swimming around, and then you sprinkle food in and they all go, whoa, right to the food, like right to the top of the tank. Like, I don't know that that's the healthiest way to go about it. Like
Yeah.
to just jump into like the chick pool. But I think, you know, it's once you feel comfortable, you end up being confident,
Hmm.
a little more confident, because it is difficult when you've lived in this very straight world, like you can't just walk into work and assume and hit on a coworker,
Yeah.
hit on a girl coworker, because you don't know. It's the finding out, and the I mean, I don't know though, nowadays, like I said, everybody's so fluid that it probably wouldn't offend anyone.
Yeah.
Straight women would be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not," but oh my God, I'm so flattered. So you get the win, either way, because they'll either be flattered or, they'll be interested. So,
Yeah.
but it is, I think the hardest part is that step in talking to someone that you're attracted to, because you get a little, flabbergasted and a little hot flush going on, you're not quite sure where it's going to go. And if
Hmm.
they are, because I feel like lesbians pretty much know other lesbians with the just, we could walk through Costco and be like, hey, just know, like you just do the thing. So, but I do think it's a little harder when, you're new to it, your radar isn't honed in yet. So, and I guess it does like depend on where you hang out, If there's funky, cool places, you will find bisexuals there.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
For
definitely
sure.
trendy, cool, funky places, you know, they flock. But I think, because the media attention and television, like we talked about this a couple of weeks ago with our queer news guy, that all he said was, "What kind of queer television have you been watching?" And we just, like, an hour later, like we just were there's so much stuff that's on television now, because streaming is a little more relaxed, and it's becoming, the norm, for people to
Hmm.
get accustomed to it. And you're always going to have people that are going to shit on it, and that's just a part of life.
Yeah.
It's going to be people that don't like what you wear, so. But I think that because we're seeing so much more of it, like it's becoming a little bit more normal, and there's not a huge drama, about coming out and talking to same sex, person or whatever. It just doesn't feel as dramatic as it used to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it
Yeah,
definitely, I feel like it definitely does make it easier, especially, well, I don't know, but like I know that with there's this whole stigma with like bisexuals of it being a phase as well. That's
yeah,
another thing.
yeah,
Um, so um, but I feel like now people are more open, like you say, to the fact that people that there are you can your sexuality, everybody's sexuality is so varied or on a spectrum or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's so fluid and ever changing that, I'm just waiting for them to drop another letter, on the LGBTQI.
yeah, yeah.
What's left, but I think, one of the things too, it's a lot less dramatic, but I don't like to downplay it, because any kind of coming out is a big deal,
Hmm.
especially to that person, and it does take, some courage, and it's a brave thing to do, like I said, because there are always, people that are going to dump, on you for whatever. But I feel like, it was a lot harder, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. But yeah, the world's become like a different place. And I think, luckily, because I don't know about you, but like if I'm holding something in, I I don't feel normal. Like I don't feel myself, you know,
Hmm.
like I don't. So I think it's really healthy, to be able to talk about it. And I know that your family is so supportive. Your mom's so cool. Your dad's like aces. So
Yeah.
I doubt you have anything, on that, front
Yeah,
to.
no, it made me nervous, but I told my mom, like I spoke to her, and I just said like, oh, I've got something to tell you, and she was like, oh God, is it good or bad? And I was like, I mean, it's not, it's
Are you
I
pregnant
don't,
again? Yeah.
that's right. And I said to her, I was like, oh, I'm bisexual, and she was like, oh, thank God you're not pregnant again. And I was like, oh, great. She was like, is that all you wanted to tell me? I was like, yeah. She was like, okay, fine, fine, do your
Great.
thing.
Yeah. See, I knew. Yeah, I feel like your family's like cool in such a progressive way.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, you really lucked out there. And I think, given the fact that you already got lesbian friends, like you've got big welcoming mama arms,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
run to with questions and concerns and all that kind of stuff. So that's, a good starting point, like a good jumping
Hmm.
off point is having
Yeah,
all those people in your corner.
for sure. But something that I think that as well, I think that, like you say, there's a lot of like younger, obviously, people are now realizing at a younger age their sexuality or their gender or whatever. And I feel like, obviously, I'm 27 now. For me, it's kind of, I don't know, it feels kind of weird being this age and only just realizing. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like you feel like a late bloomer.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
right. You feel like, oh,
In
how did I?
today's society, 27 is a late bloomer.
Everybody that you're talking to or meeting is already in it. They've already been. They've done
Yeah.
all this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for me, I'm like, oh, I don't. And I can't. That's why I came to you and I was like, Denise, I don't really know how to talk to girls. Like, how do
Yeah.
I do that? I mean, with guys, like you say, it's easy, right? A guy, when you're talking to a guy does all the chasing pretty much.
Yeah.
He
Right.
he he
Right.
if he wants something, he's gonna go out of his way to get it. You don't really have to do anything.
Exactly.
And even I was talking to my male friend about this, and I was saying it to him. I was like, I don't like. It's weird for me to like talk to girls, and I was telling him like how I speak to girls, and he was like, yeah, but you're not. He was like, you're talking to girls like you would talk to a guy. He was like, that's the difference. Like you're talking to girls like they're gonna chase you, whereas you both need to put equal effort in
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
talk to girls. Whereas with guys, they will ask you all the questions, right? Oh, like what are you doing, blah blah blah, and then you can go off of that.
Right.
Whereas with girls, I feel like you kind of need to make a bit more effort to. I don't know. It just feels a little bit. It's just it's different. It's different.
Yeah. It's a little harder. I won't, I'm not, I don't want to lie. I feel like it is a little harder, um, because there's effort involved. Like not only do you want to look good, which is pretty much the end of it when it comes to meeting a guy, right? Like
Right?
the end of it.
Yeah.
But now it's like you got to have banter, you got to have your chat game's got to be on point.
Hmm.
Things don't really have to be black and white when it comes to this. Oh, there's JD. Way to get in there. Let's give her 10 minutes. There. She really was excited to talk about this with you. She loved that you were just experiencing this, right
Yeah.
now. That's pretty cool. There you go. Kerrie, meet JD.
Hi.
How are you? Nice to meet you.
You too.
I'm so glad you could come on today.
Yeah, me too.
We've been covering the gamut of like who she's told, how she figured it out, all that kind of stuff. But
Hmm.
to bring you up to speed, we were just discussing how my views changed on bisexuals. Like I when I first came out, I didn't want to have anything to do with them because I thought they're looking at other girls, then they're going to be looking at other guys, and that's just too much to worry about. So I just don't want to have anything, but the way everything's changed. Like everybody's sexuality is fluid, and people are realizing things early on. And it's funny because now my target are polyamorous relationships. How does somebody do that? But but no, I have a friend that's in one and has a child. So it's like there's her. You know what? And it's Nicole Payson, right?
Oh,
How many
okay.
times have I said I got to get Nicole on the show? She's an actress.
Yeah.
She's been in like a lot.
Yeah.
So she had a baby, and she's with oh my God, Rose Mandala, I think her name is, another actress, and then her and Nicole's husband, and it's three of them and a baby. And it's just like the most perfect thing. Like I follow their Instagram, and it's like I never look at it and not say, "Oh." So
They're happy, and they're happy in that situation.
Yeah,
Nobody's jealous of the
right,
person.
right, exactly. And I think that's just a part of the progress. That society is making in tiny increments. Like I'm not saying, like really, we should have been here 20 years ago, but here we are slogging along, making progress. Accepting whatever the modern families and the definition of, this relationship and that relationship and what families look like and relationships look like. So
Yeah.
we've come a long way. Kerrie was saying that she feels like at 27 that she's a late bloomer.
Yeah, it feels weird. It feels so weird.
Not at all.
No, we're late bloomers. Yeah, we're by definition.
More so than you. Yeah. I was married 25 years
Yeah.
to
Oh,
a
yeah.
man before I came out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Took her quite a while. But like I said to Kerrie, it's like however you get there, you get there. And it's all about settling in, getting comfortable with yourself, gaining your confidence in your new found identity or whatever. Because Kerrie's finding it a little challenging maybe to start conversations and have conversations with girls, because we were saying with guys, all you got to do is look pretty. And, they'll do all the chasing. With girls, it's a little give and take. So, and
Absolutely.
JD, like, you don't ever have to worry about it because she's like a rock star. So, she's always got girls falling at her feet, The rest of us had to work.
Say. That's very
Yeah.
kind of you. But I don't know. I might have missed this part of it. Was there a particular woman that made you realize that you had these feelings, or is it just in general?
No, so yeah, no, I was saying that basically, like, I don't know, I'd felt like it for a while, that I was attracted to women, but I was just like kind of blasé about it, like, all women are attracted to other women. Women are hot, right? So you just think, oh, all women are attracted to women, but then you start like realizing, no, but I actually want something more. It's not just about, oh, that girl's really pretty.
Right.
It's more than that. Do you know what I mean? It's more. Yeah, I could.
Exactly.
And like I said to Denise as well, I couldn't. There was a point where I was like, oh yeah, but I couldn't. I don't think I could see myself in a relationship with a woman. But for me, I feel like it's more out of comfort. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm so used to obviously dating men. So even now, when I think about it, like, yeah, I would like a relationship with a woman, but then I think, oh, but it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just something to get more comfortable with. But yeah, it was just, I don't know. Like after I broke up with my my child's father, I was doing like a lot of thinking and yeah, like getting to know myself more, and it made me realize, yeah, that yeah.
I
Have
am.
you had a relationship with a woman yet? Have you experienced that, or so?
No, I haven't.
It's brand new.
She had a coffee with one. She hasn't even had like a coffee date.
No, nothing. I haven't got that far. I've been trying.
So, I don't know. What do you think, Denise? You think she should go on some coffee dates, or?
Yeah, I was saying, like I think it's kind of a little like my analogy was like when you have a fish tank and you've got some fish in it and you sprinkle food in it and they all shoot up to the top to eat. Like you can't just shoot out to a lesbian bar or a gay bar or whatever and think magic is going to happen, because the last thing you want to do is be disappointed or get hurt,
Yeah,
used or whatever. But I think that because our society now, like everybody's sexuality is fluid and it's a lot easier. You don't have to do those kinds of things. You could end up in a relationship with your best friend, and see where it goes or whatever. But I think, because there's dating apps, are a great start, I guess. I don't know that I would take it off the app really quick. I would probably want to have a lot of, conversations first, but that's just me. But I would imagine that it feels like you feel a little bit anxious about it. Like I just want to get my first date over with.
yeah. That's what I've been like. I've been on the dating apps. Well, I am right now on a dating app. Obviously looking to meet another woman, but it's harder. I'm fine. Like, obviously, talking to women that I'm friends with is fine. It's easy. Obviously, you're friends. But
Yeah.
when it comes to actually like trying to flirt with a girl, it feels different. It's so different. Or
Especially
a girl,
in text
just
messages.
talking to a girl on a dating app that I'm attracted to, I'm like, oh, like, because I want this to go into a date, like, or a
Right.
different scenario, a different dynamic than us
Right.
just being friends. If I'm talking to somebody that I want to be friends with, it's easy. But
Yeah.
talking to a girl it's just different. I don't know. It just feels
It is
new
a little
and
different. It takes a little work, like I said, you gotta have the banter, your chat game's gotta be, it gotta be at the top of your game. But I
Mhm.
think like women, ultimately, what I have found is that women want to know you're interested, so it is a lot of, after, what do you do? Like, what's left? What do you like to do after work? I
Right.
feel like a game show host, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like the guy from Pointless,
Mhm.
for a living. And then what do you do in your free time? It's just like, it feels like really pointed, where
Yeah.
I want it to feel a little bit more natural. So I don't know. I usually throw in like a fact about myself after a question, and then this way they have something to play off of.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You've asked the question, and seems like it can go back and forth a little bit that way. Like little fun fact about me is, whatever, but
Yeah,
not
right.
saying that, but I mean, if they, I mean, work someplace that you know of or heard of or whatever, say
Right.
that,
Right. Right.
yeah, to keep it going. So I think it is hard though, like in a text message, because everything can get misconstrued,
Mhm.
like it
So,
really,
so,
yeah, like you just, and a lot of things get lost in translation, and you got to use emojis and
mhm.
LOLs and all that kind of stuff. But um, yeah, I mean, thank God for emojis. You know what I mean? Like, you can always
Right.
say
That's
something that,
true.
right? If you're saying something that sounds a little blunt, you can put a little kissy face afterwards. No,
To set the tone, exactly.
yeah,
But you know what? I like what you said about too much expectation going into the bars, because I played in the bars down here. So I was usually popular, because I was playing in the bars. But I went to Nashville, and there was one lesbian bar in downtown Nashville called Lipstick. Did you hear about that one, Denise? Had you ever heard? It was pretty
yeah, yeah.
popular. Pretty famous. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go there. There was a band playing that night, an all-girl band, and I was going through a breakup that my heart was just totally broken from this girl. And I'm like, I'm just going to go there and meet somebody, because I'm used to walking in the bars, and, people know me down here, right? So people
Right.
like me, and I'm pretty popular when I walk in. And I walk in, and like, no one, I was in the way, like, almost like it was like, you're standing next to somebody thinking like maybe you'll catch their eye, and you're standing in the way of them and the girl they're trying to buy a drink for, It was
Right,
just,
right.
I was like, everyone was cliquey, and I think you could obviously see I was like a out of towner, because they all knew each other in the bar, right? So I was like the different person, and it was just funny because it wasn't like I thought it was going to be at all. I thought I'm going to go meet new people. I'm going to get up on the stage and sing. There was also open mic night, so I got
Oh,
up to sing the
okay.
song, and
Right.
still nothing. It was like,
Wow.
I'm like, well, once I sing, they're gonna know, that I'm do this. It was just funny. It was so funny. It was just not what I expected that experience to be
But
at all.
first of all, you were in Nashville and you look like like a rock and roller from New York. So,
That was the first thing. You're right. You're
yeah.
right.
They were probably just intimidated. Like,
They were a bluegrass band. You're absolutely right.
see,
So yes.
that's funny. But that's the thing, is that when I think about like Kerrie, you were saying how easy it is to talk to friends because there's no attraction there and you don't want to sleep with them or whatever.
Mhm.
But in the same realm, there's so many topics to talk about, in this day and age. Like we had a guest on the show last night, an actress or whatever, but I mean, we barely spoke about acting, and being in Queer as Folk, we talked about motherhood, activism, politics, the landscape of the country. I mean, like we just filled an hour and a half like nothing, but never really touched on the acting part. I mean, everything from Vanity, right? Like
Right, everything.
looks and like it was crazy. So I think, with guys, your topics are small, where do you want to eat? I don't know. Where you want to go? Wherever that kind of thing. But I do think that women, they spend more time online, so they know a lot of pop culture. So those are always easy topics, right? I mean, I'm sitting here with a Harry Styles mug, that's a conversation starter right there. So what did we freeze? Oh no. Did we freeze?
We
froze.
froze.
Yeah.
Froze. I'm thinking maybe I'm the one frozen, and they're
No,
not frozen.
It says my internet is unstable.
Oh.
Oh, wow. Well, listen, here's the thing. We've touched on a lot of things. We've given you a little guidance. We've heard your story, but I need for you to know that I'm always here. Like, where I live. I'm always available on WhatsApp. And I think what you're doing is amazing. Like it's a brave thing. Like, like I said, it's a lot less dramatic these days for anybody to come out, because we kind of assume that everybody is just like gender fluid, doesn't matter, but it's a big deal. So congratulations. It's a big deal. I'm proud of you.
Thanks. Can I ask you for one more thing though?
Yeah.
We can talk about sexual stuff on here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just need to make sure. That makes me a little bit nervous though. Right? Is that did you feel like that? Did you both feel like that? Like when you thought about, I mean, obviously it's something that I have fantasized about, but it makes me feel a little bit like, what do you do? How does it, I mean, obviously I know how it works, but do you know what I mean? It's completely different ball game.
It's a whole but I will say this. I was really shocked at how natural everything happens.
Oh yeah.
Like, it doesn't, like it doesn't feel awkward or anything, because usually there's a big lead up, like you're making out on the couch forever, you're bumping and grinding and blah blah blah. But I will say this about myself. I was really fussy. Like I didn't really want to like do a lot of muff diving in the beginning. Not into that part of it. Like, you want to do that to me, that's fine, but like, all conditions have to be perfect for me to do that. And I do mean even like connection wise. Like I'm not gonna do that with a one night stand. Like that was just like no, like not happening. But I do, like I said, I feel like everything comes about really natural, and I think that's when that your feelings are valid, what you've just figured out, it's all a culmination of all that the thought you've put into it, the nerves and everything. It all ends up being a burst of energy, like a sizzle. So I do think that it'll all come about really normal and natural. And the cool thing about being with another girl is that you can talk all you want during sex.
Absolutely, yeah.
You can say what you're comfortable with, what you're uncomfortable with, what you want to try, what you don't want to try, what's off limits. I mean, I think that that's the great part, that women are just better communicators, and we don't have any qualms about laying out groundwork or whatever. Like when it gets to that moment, the last thing you want to do is be like, wait a minute, hold on, let me just say, this is my first time, not quite sure what to do. You won't even like feel, you know what I mean? Like it'll just unfold is the best way to put it, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because I'm such a germ freak and there's so many diseases out there. And I was like, well, you can't like just slap on a condom like you can with a guy, right? So you have to be
Right.
more
Yeah.
careful, right? So I think another thing that maybe this is just me, but I really want to know who I'm with, you know, and like even from that standpoint.
And I think, again, the cool part, like I said, is women are just way better communicators.
Mhm.
And, you know, again, they want to feel like you're interested in them. And I think, you know, that's part of the conversations you should be having, especially
Mhm.
nowadays, you know, I mean, especially nowadays. Yeah, I don't think anybody would be offended by that. So there's a
That
lot of
is something that I've noticed on dating apps, though. A lot of women will say, like, put on that in their bio, something like that. Like,
Really?
I want to, yeah. It's something that I've noticed. A lot of women will say stuff like that. Like, I want to make sure that everything's safe and
Oh,
everything firsthand. So, yeah, I think a lot more people are open to it because everybody knows, like, we know that these things are just going around, and yeah,
yeah.
so.
Oh, it's so true. And you know, I think the cool thing over here is that there's so many like places to go and clinics and whatever, like that are just banging like every corner. You know,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
make television
You can
shows
literally do
about
it
it.
at home now. You can call up and order a test at home. So it's like so simple. Yeah.
And
yeah.
private, and you know, you feel like it's a little bit more private, which is great.
Right.
But yeah, I
Right.
think it's I think COVID changed everybody's way, you know,
Yeah.
being intimate, and you know, like it really spooked everyone. So, you know, like I think it's normal, you know, now it's become the new normal. So
Yeah.
you won't have any problems with that, you know.
Mhm.
And I do, like,
Yeah.
again, that was one of those stigmas I think that are attached to bisexual people, is that, well, you're messing around with guys that are messing around with 10 other girls, and you know, and
Yeah.
I'll come back on me and that kind of thing. So I do think, you know, maybe it's different for like lesbians because we're far less susceptible to
Yeah.
something, you know. But you know, people in general, you know, gay, straight, whatever, you need to be aware and safe. So I think it's yeah, it's topical, you know, it's politically correct in this.
That's really good to know. I wanted to ask you, how does the father of your baby feel about your coming out as bisexual?
So I haven't. He doesn't know.
Oh.
He doesn't. He doesn't know. I haven't told him yet. I don't know how he'd feel. I don't know how he'd feel. Yeah. No, I haven't. Told him.
I would tell you this: if I was a guy and I had a baby with somebody, and so I get the kid on weekends or whatever the arrangement is, you know, and then one day I'm dropping him off, and you're with a girl, and you say like, I'm dating her, whatever. My thought is, fantastic, two mothers for this kid.
Yeah, I feel like men are a lot more easygoing. Like, I don't know if you've ever spoken to I don't know, when you speak to men and you're like, oh, how would you, like, I don't know, guys are more forgiving, say for example, if you cheated on them with a woman than if you had
Right.
cheated on them with a
Yeah,
man.
right.
Yeah.
So I feel like it would be like a similar situation, but like I said, I haven't really come out to everybody. I've just kind of, because it feels so weird to just come out and say it, like, oh, by
Yeah.
the way. So
We were
they'll
talking
know.
about,
They'll
like,
know when they know. They'll know when
yeah,
they find out. Like I said, the only people that I've really come out to are a couple of friends and my mom are people that I've actually told.
yeah.
Everybody else will know when I have a girlfriend. They'll find out.
That's what I
That's
told her. I'm like, you're not, you know, because you're not pursuing someone, you know, in the hope, you know, that you're on the verge or a cusp of a relationship. So you got to let everybody know. So it's not weird when you walk into the next dinner with a girl. There's
Right.
absolutely no rush in this scenario. So it almost affords you more time to be comfortable with it, you know, and
Yeah.
it become easier and more normal, you know. It won't feel as awkward, because I was saying, like, there especially for someone that's bisexual, like to just walk into a party and be like, I'm into chicks now, you know. You can't, it's weird, right? Like
Yeah,
you're not
it's
gonna
just
go,
yeah.
she said, to the family barbecue and make this big announcement over ribs. So you got, yeah, because there's nothing pending, you know, you get the luxury of sitting with it for a little bit and
Mhm.
talking to people about it. And I'll tell you what, the more people you do have conversations with and friends, and it gets out in your little friend circle, I will almost guarantee you that someone will say, I've got somebody I want to fix you up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Let's
know.
hope.
I really, really feel like that's, one of the less talked about ways that people meet.
Yeah.
Like a friend hooks them up with someone, and it's easy, it's comfortable, and you got a letter of recommendation right there, like your friend's recommending. So, I think in due time, it'll happen, but I do think that it'll all be a little more natural and easier the longer you're coming to terms with it and comfortable with it, because it does feel like I do feel like you are comfortable with it. It's not uncomfortable.
Yeah, like I said, I've been like thinking it for like a few years, but never really. I don't know. I guess I just kind of thought that, oh no, this is just how straight women feel. I
Yeah,
don't know. It never really occurred to me that no, maybe not. I don't know. So yes, it's like something. Yeah,
yeah. I
more so
do
that I've
remember
just
that.
like properly realized
I
that.
remember that exact train of thought. When I first like realized that I was like, you know, looking at women a lot more than I was looking at men,
Mhm.
at some point, and thinking that, oh, everybody probably does this. Like, I mean, that's normal or whatever. And then I was like, when it hit me that, like you said, it's more than that. That's when I had like, I got to explore this a little bit more. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's the that thinking, and I think it's a part of us, like we don't want to think, like we want to think that everybody does it, because we don't want to feel like
Right.
everybody else. So I think it's really normal and natural, and like I said, it's far easier these days, I think. And
I was just going to say that. I think nowadays it's much easier because it's so much more accepted than when Denise and I were younger. And I think the way you did it, Denise, was so brave. I don't think I could have ever done that. I think if he didn't cheat on me, I'd probably still be in that marriage and not happy with. I actually just put all of that energy into writing songs and playing music and traveling, and which I guess eventually was helping the demise of everything because I was away so much, leaving him alone.
yeah.
So, but I don't know. I think what you did was very brave and grown up the way you did it. So,
Oh, you mean
I
'cause I went to therapy?
well, that you just went to him and told him this is how I
Oh,
feel, and you went to therapy first to figure it out, and then
yeah.
went and told him instead of just trying to bury it and and just I
No,
guess
yeah, no. My biggest
was
fear was hurting people. That was
right.
like,
That's the thing. That's the
yeah,
thing.
I didn't want to hurt my parents. I didn't want to hurt Chuck. I didn't want to hurt his parents. So I felt like I was thinking more about that than I was myself. And that is what,
Yeah.
I needed to talk to a therapist about and say, is this right? Like, should I be thinking about everybody else and not me? Like, but yeah, I needed to find the balance, and that was really helpful. So yeah, and that's always another route, that doesn't hurt. So if
And
you
then
feel like you're struggling, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Then I
definitely.
still blamed myself when he cheated on me. The first thing I said when I found out was, "This is my fault," because I'm away so much. So it was worse the way I did it. It was much better that the way you did it. If I had to do it again. So I guess what I'm saying is, like, I think you're doing the right thing too, is to just say who you are to the people that you love now, and just
Mhm.
they will be fine. I didn't hear that part of the story. I'm assuming that your mom's
Yeah,
okay and everything.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
yeah. Her parents are like so cool. Like
Yeah.
they're really progressive, cool people, you know, like
Mhm.
I wouldn't. I said it's such a great start to have that, you know, supportive circle, especially like it's not something that you have to like, you know, chew on forever, you know, like and always talk about it and everything. It's like as long as they know there's a possibility you might be
Yeah.
showing up with a girl, that's it, you know,
Yeah.
that's it. You don't have to discuss every little thing. Once you're in the relationship, you will go to them to your mom and be like, oh my God, she talks so much. I don't know. The usual. It'll be the usual. It's no different than any other relationship. So you'll be absolutely fine.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, keep me posted. I want to know like what happens, what goes on. I mean, thank God we
Absolutely.
stay in touch because I was telling her like, oh my God, out of everything about those couple of years, like Kerrie is the thing I miss the most. Really.
Aw.
Really. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's very brave of you to do this and to come on and talk to us. So thank you for that
Thanks for
honesty.
having me on.
Yeah. Good
Good.
luck out there. Be smart, be sensitive, be kind.
I will. I
That's
will. I
be
will.
everything.
I'll keep you posted.
Excellent.
Ask for the medical report.
Yeah.
Just the
That's
one,
perfect.
you know.
Perfect. All right, listen, you guys. I know it's late, Kerrie. You probably got to work tomorrow. So everybody, have a good night. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for making it, Jay. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Why do you always run
Like, never stop chasing your dreams.
to the lover you
We drank
want
way
to?
too much
You're
whiskey.
addicted to her touch. That's
There,
That
that,
is.
see?
true.
That is.
And
See?
I confess, my addiction is you. Don't ask me why I'm here tonight. I had to take this midnight drive to find you. And as I come in through the door, I see her dancing on the floor beside you. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch, that's true. And I confess, my addiction is you. You look at me and in my eyes you see the hurt I can't disguise. I want you. And though it seems I look right through, I'm noticing your every move. She's got you. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch, that's true. And I confess, my addiction is you. You're my
much that's true.